Okay, here we go. Well, still one series, but like I said, this is 11 hours. This is part 2 of my recording.
He shouldn't be running the government, but unless you walked in his shoes, unless you know what temptations he's fallen prey to, or what people have offered him to be and do what he is and what he does, being imperfect humans ourselves, it's not right to do that. If you're a Christian, you know, judge not lest ye be judged, right? So it's wrong for us to do that. It's okay to call him a communist because he is. Okay? It's okay to tell the truth. Truth is what I'm all about. And believe me, sometimes I get caught in the deception just like everybody else, but it's not as easy to catch me in the deception as it is to catch most of you. Because I've been caught too many times, and I learn from my mistakes. And I spend 99% of my time searching out the truth where none of you have ever looked. Some of you may have looked in some of the areas and some of the things that I've looked in, but I can guarantee you there's nobody in this room who has looked where I've looked as long as I have looked, as diligently as I have done it. Okay? Now, what I'm going to try to do today is sort of give you some of what I've learned. And you can take it for whatever you think it's worth. I hope that you will take it out of here and use it to search for your own truth. Truth is not always cut and dried. It's not always black and white. You can't get into the concept that, hey, this is right and that is wrong and there is no in-between, because that's not true. There are all kinds of in-between all the time. And truth is elusive, folks. I have to tell you this. It's elusive at best, and it's hard to find. And the moment you think you know it all, you have lost yourself again. It's one of the major things that I've discovered in my life is by the time we reach an age where we understand we need to learn something that we don't really know at all, it's usually in the late 30s or sometime in the 40s. If you've discovered that earlier than that, you are the exception, you are not the norm. Because isn't it true that during the first years of our life, we're just discovering the world around us? We're subject to the authority of our parents. And Doyle, why don't you go ahead and put it up here? It won't bother me a bit. We're subject to the dictates of our parents, the authority of our parents, our preacher, our minister, high school teachers, principals, the community at large. And isn't it true that during those years we're basically trying to serve some sense of discover who we are and what the world is about, and not really what the truth is? Sort of fit our way into it whether we think we belong or not. And isn't it true that during those years the major preoccupation with most people is to be liked by everybody else? Isn't that what most of us spend most of our time in high school doing? Trying to be liked by everybody else?
Not me.
So that instead of looking for the truth or doing the right thing, we do what we think the other children around us would like for us to do so that they will like us. Now, it's not bad to admit that, because it's a human thing. And every person in their younger years goes through that. Then we get into our later teens and our early 20s, and what is the major preoccupation on everybody's mind? Sex, right? Anybody says no, I'll call them a liar to their face. It's sex. Whether you'll admit it or not, it's the truth. And because to be involved in that activity, or to have someone, whether you're involved in actually having sex or not, but the sexuality of being with someone else, you have to have a job, and you have to have a car, and you have to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk, right? So that takes up our life. And then sometime, usually in the later 20s, some guy sets out to get a girl and she traps him. Right? So they get married. Some people don't. And that's to their great credit, because personally, folks, after having lived my life and being honest with myself, any woman who marries a man before he's the age of 36 is a fool. Because most men aren't ready for that. They're not mature enough, and you're just asking for trouble. But people have done it and succeeded. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. But that's what we're all wrapped up in that stuff. And none of it really means anything. Because it's all going to happen to you anyway. If you are just doing the right thing, you're going to attract the right people. And if you're a man, the right woman's going to come along. And if you're a woman, the right guy is going to come along if you're involved in doing right things. But the problem is we try to make it happen, and that's where we get in trouble. And we ignore all the most important things that we should be involved in our life that really matter. Because these other things are just natural things that are going to happen. You can't make somebody like you in high school. Whatever in the world made us think that we could make people like us? If we just go along and do what we're supposed to do and just be ourselves, people are going to like us. But we think we have to make it happen. Or we think if we do this or we do that, Susie's going to like us more, and we're going to have the hot date we've always dreamed about. Well, you might, but as soon as Susie finds out that it's all phony, it's all going to fall apart anyway, right? Okay. So by the time we're in our late 30s or sometime in our 40s, is usually when we begin to discover what's really important in life. Now, if you don't believe that, look around in this room and look the age of everybody in here. See, if I was lying, this room would be full of 16-year-olds and 20-year-olds and 25 years old, but it's not, is it? What's the average age of everybody in here? Late 30s and 40s, right? So I'm telling you the truth, aren't I? By the time we reach that stage, if we make a concerted effort to learn everything that we need to know and begin to really do the right things, we don't have enough time left. That's why I devote every single moment that I have in my life to this. Because there just isn't enough time. And even if I do the very best job that I can possibly do, I can't complete the task that I need to complete before I'm going to pass on.
Okay, next one.